What is up, everybody? Hey, welcome to yet another episode of Tech Talks with Brett. Today, we are going to hack a $7 million commercial to show you how to reach your target audience. All right, guys. Hey, so in 2019, if you had told me that you were going to put a QR code on a piece of marketing, I would have laughed you out of the building. And you're going to be like, but Brett, why? Right? Because very, very few people knew how to scan a QR code, right? Phones weren't optimized for it. If you had Android, you had to download an app for it. In fact, even on iPhone, you had to download an app for it. It was clunky, it was ineffective, and it took multiple steps to get to the end product. Dude, QR codes were dead, ultimately. And then this thing happened. And suddenly, everywhere around, restaurants were scrambling for a way to get their menu on people's phones because, physical things, due to this thing that happened, you couldn't touch physical menus. And so these restaurant owners thought, the QR code. Yeah, COVID is the reason that the QR code is here to stay. And it's about time that you start putting it on your marketing pieces. And the reason is because everyone knows how to use it now. Thanks to COVID and restaurants putting this on everything and cities putting this up across their city streets and everything, QR codes are everywhere you look now. And if that didn't drive the point home, I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. Okay, so my dad is 76 years old, okay? This man, I love him to death, but he cannot text to save his life. If you need him to text you something, you will not get a response. Period. You can text him all day long. He will never respond. He does not know how to text. But he came out to visit Aurora and I. He and my mom came out for Christmas. And we all went out to a restaurant. And my dad sat down and he got out his phone and he scanned the menu. And I'm just sitting across from him looking and going, "What are you doing?" And he goes, I'm getting the menu. And I said, and how are you doing that? And he goes, "I'm opening my camera and I'm scanning that thing right there because it pulls the menu up on my phone." And I just stared at this man because he cannot respond to a text, but he can open his camera and get a QR code menu to pop up on his phone and then read the menu. Now, granted, he can't close the tab on his phone, so he has, 700 tabs from the 700 restaurants that he's eaten at. But that's not the point. The point is that a guy that is so tech unsavvy can figure out how to scan a QR code. That is a huge flag that everybody should be paying attention to. The hardest thing in marketing is to take something that is offline and move it online. An example of this is the postcard. You're trying to take someone from reading a physical postcard to visiting your website where you can capture their information and track what they're doing on your website. Most people are not going to type in a physical URL. No matter how you shorten that domain name, no matter how short it is, no matter if it's a bit.ly code, doesn't matter what it is, right? People are lazy. They do not want to type in information. Text codes used to work, but with the amount of text spam that people are getting, more and more people are getting very leery of using a text code. Now, drop a QR code on there, and people know what they should be doing. And I say this because I may have run a little experiment. And at a friend's restaurant, I may have just put a random QR code up right as you walked in the restaurant. Didn't have any information on it, just was a QR code. Guess what? People walked in and instinctually just scanned it. Yeah, it was my real estate business card. Yeah, had nothing to do with the restaurant. But people just walked in and went immediately. They didn't even think about it. It was instinctual. So if people know what to do, if they see a QR code, they're going to scan it. Now, if you don't believe me that works and that you should be putting QR codes on things, I want to draw your attention to something else. If you watched the Super Bowl yesterday, you may have seen an ad that looked like this. Yeah, Coinbase paid $7 million to put a QR code and only a QR code in their Super Bowl commercial. Folks, that commercial, this. Yeah, that could be made by me in, I don't know, 5 minutes on Premiere Pro on my MacBook Pro. Like, that is the most simplistic ad. And by the way, hat tip for the the Office reference. That was hilarious. But here's the thing, guys. Do you know how many people scanned that QR code? I can't give you an exact number, but I can tell you this much. The response was so great that it crashed not only the Coinbase website, but the Coinbase app for over 2 hours. So here's my point. If my 76-year-old dad can figure out how to use a QR code, and Coinbase is willing to spend $7 million and run the lowest tech commercial in Super Bowl history, showing nothing but a QR code, I think your postcard is going to do just fine with a QR code. Every day, I try to tell people, use marketing techniques from companies that spend millions upon millions upon millions of dollars A/B testing stuff. And if you want a company that has spent millions upon millions upon millions of dollars A/B testing something, and the result that they came up with to spend their $7 million for their Super Bowl ad was to run the most basic low-tech commercial ever, showing nothing but a bouncing QR code. Folks, there is nothing else I've got for you. Like, use that because they did the work for you. Shortest tech talk in the world, but I'm sorry, that was just too freaking epic not to talk about. You guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.